Morning all. God, that's right. Yes, it is Tuesday the I think 11th of May. Yep. It's about 7 o'clock, and I'm all bagged up, ready to go. So this will be day 3, I suppose. Yeah, reasonable night. Don't sleep well in the tent anyway. The old hip playing up. I don't think I inflated the mattress enough again. Still, there you go. There's nothing like getting you raring to go in the morning than a night that's sleeping in a tent like that. See, it rained quite heavily around 3 o'clock in the morning, and so I've had to put the tent away wet again in the bag. Still, it kept me dry inside though. It does its job very well. So yeah, just outside Brixham at the moment. Going to go up there along a golf course or something, and then when we get there, we should find ourselves at Broadsands, I suppose, which is a place, and that's just outside Paynton. And then it's onwards to Torquay and then round to Babbacombe, and that's where my day should end, but I'm going to try and get some extra miles in today. The guide says that it's going to be an easy day today, as opposed to a challenging to strenuous day yesterday. So, but it also says to do 10 miles today, and I think that's more about placement of B&Bs rather than terrain difficulty. So I'm going to keep going. Yeah, so the next 2 days, it's supposed to be Brixham to Babbacombe, which is 10 miles of easy going apparently, and then Babbacombe to Teignmouth, which is apparently 16 miles of easy going. That's the longest planned day stage of the trip, but again, easy going. So if I swap those about, do 16 from here to Babbacombe and then 6 miles beyond, find somewhere to doss down, and then the following day 10 miles and a bit more, because 10 miles should bring me to the ferry at Exmouth, which I would rather like to hit before 4 o'clock really, because that stops reasonably early, that one. I mean, it's not the end of the world if I miss it. I'll get a train from Starcross up to Exeter St David's and then back down to Exmouth. It's about an hour's train journey, I think, if it's all running right. And then I can just step off that train having not done the ferry, which will be a shame, but it's not really cheating, I don't think. I'll still have done the same amount of walking. But I'd rather not have to just sort of doss about on the west side of the X for 24 hours like I did with the waiting for a tide to go out, when there are alternative options available. But ideally I'll get to the River X, I don't know, around 2 or 3 in the afternoon on the second day after today. So we'll see. I have to get a crack on and see how we do, but I think that's doable. Yeah, that's the Brixham breakwater there. My white balance has just blown out completely. Now you can see the lighthouse on the end there. It's very sheltered here. There's almost no wind today and hardly any cloud either. I don't doubt the weather will do something unpleasant to me as the week goes on anyway, but I think for now we should definitely get a decent morning's hiking in the dry with relatively low winds. So the hat's back out. I think I caught the sun a bit yesterday. So yeah, feeling optimistic about today. And of course all throughout today, pretty much from here through to Babbacombe, it's just going to be like, ice cream shops all the way. Torquay, English Riviera. Very, very, very holiday maker seafront. Hotels all along it. So I shouldn't have much trouble getting basic supplies all throughout today, including hopefully an ice cream or two and a pint of lemonade. But, so to begin with, I need to get up these bloody steps. I think this is the last big hill for a while, but we'll see. It's not that big either, really. I've seen worse. Yesterday, in fact. So, bag up, crack on. Speak to you anon. I don't know where this is, but it's a nice view. Old fort there on the end. Lots of little ones of those. But then, as we saw with that brownstone forward battery, with the modern guns, well, I say modern, that was even the Second World War. You only need 1 or 2 of those if they can hit 14 miles away, whereas these things need them on every jutting headland and beach, really, if you're going to try and maintain sort of coastal security in the 1600s. 1 or 2 cannons in there. Couple of soldiers. Yeah. Our big boats out there still. They are definitely moving. One there. Another one there. That one there, letting off a bit of steam, smoke, whatever. There's Torquay over there and painting. Yeah, lovely. I don't know. I don't even know if they can just stop. I don't know what keels they've got. I mean, they're quite high-sided, so I imagine they're going to need some kind of artificial powered stabilisation to stop them blowing over when 50 mile an hour winds hit the bay. Mind you, that is partly why they're in these bays to begin with, I expect. It's quite sheltered here. I can feel no wind at all. I expect that'll pick up a bit once we get a bit away from this whole headland. But even so, well, yeah, I mean, look, wow, you can see the steam coming off, steam or smoke or whatever that is. Steam, I think it's too light for smoke. Don't think they're generally allowed to do smoke nowadays. But yeah, that's not, being whipped away and swallowed by the wind. That's just drifting slightly. So very calm today. Well, look at the water. Yeah, something naval out there, I think. What's that? Is that an aircraft carrier? Got a sort of raised front prow. Is that the Queen Elizabeth II? Or whatever it is. Not the QE2 liner, there's a Queen Elizabeth aircraft carrier. That's the big thing these days, naval-wise. I don't know. That sort of raised, yeah, two con towers and a raised ramp on the front. I think there's a carrier. Still, who knows? I expect there are websites that track the movements of these things that you can look through. Alright, I need to crack on. I want to find some breakfast. Coffee, certainly. Found a sign. So, Paynton 3, Brixham 2.5. Quite early. Unzoom. Yeah, just me and dog walkers out at the moment. It's about 7:30 or so. Closed. Check out all the beach huts. I can't remember if I've seen beach huts on the South West Coast path so far. There must have been some around the North Coast, Westward Ho and stuff. Thousands of them here though. Sure, I've seen these go for like £30,000 or £40,000 each. Certainly on the South Coast, sort of around near the Solent and stuff. And it's just a shed. You might have an electrical point in there if you're lucky. Have to brew a kettle. Yeah. I mean, my residence is a little more rudimentary, but certainly more portable. But they are a very quintessential English seaside site. We'll see a lot more of them today, I'm sure. Brightly coloured pastels all along the front. Didn't we have a wonderful time at the seaside? Is this even sand here? Yeah, very pebbly around here generally. If they have to import the sand, they do in some places. I think Weston-super-Mare, they have to bring it in by lorry, because Weston-super-Mare is essentially on a muddy river estuary of the sand. Don't really get yellow sand, so they import it for the tourists. There's massive silent monoliths, heralds of an age long gone. I expect they'll be back in business one day. I think that, from what I gather, cruise bookings have gone mad at the moment because all the lockdown stuff's starting to be lifted. It's not that people don't want to go on the cruise ships; it's that government regulations don't let them run. But those will be relaxed and lifted as we go. I expect it'll be business as usual, assuming any of those companies stay in business. Yeah. And you won't catch me getting on one of those plague ships. No. But then I don't like people either, really. I mean, that's essentially being stuck in a hotel for like 2 weeks. Sure, they'd like have a half-hour stop at Mykonos or whatever now and then, but not my kind of thing, really. as you might gather. Bit of a breeze picking up, which is good because I was getting a bit hot there, and there's patchy cloud about, so I don't think we've seen the end of all this stupid wind, but it's supposed to die off to about half its strength for the rest of the week, so that would be fine. That would do me around, steady 20-mile-an-hour breezes pushing up my back and keeping me cool. It's just that nonsense 50-mile-an-hour stuff that was really getting quite insistent yesterday. I started to lose my mind a bit with that constant howling in my ears. So there you go. Short trip, I expect. Bunny. This is interesting. The old, I want to say viaduct. Is that not for water? It's an aqueduct. It's a viaduct. Is that the roads and rails and things? Anyway, train line on the top. I heard anything going across, but I think that might be the steam train to Kingswear. Wish I'd taken some shots of the little station there, but the far side of the ferry from Dartmouth, there's a little courtyard where the ferry disembarks, tiny little car ferry as well, and there's a steam train station, all done out in 1930s GWR colours, all very retro. Little voluntary society keeps it going, I expect. I don't know where you get on that, and probably Paynton. Stops one or two places along the way and then ends up back in Dartmouth. Not allowed to do it myself, of course. No acorns on that train line. But charming nonetheless, I expect. Bit of a climb. That's okay. Got a gradual one. Oh, God. Yeah, just flat promenading all day today. There's just a lot of steps still, but they're just better paved. Bench of the Dead here. Fiona Skinner. 15th November 1960, 29th July 2002. Don't stop me now. www.fionaskinner.info. Wow, that's a bit modern. Don't see many URLs on Benches of the Dead. Big old holiday park here. Static caravan variety. And the steam train line that we went under earlier. I assume it's a steam train line. I haven't seen anything going on it so far today. Probably a bit early. It's almost certainly a little touristy run rather than a main commuter route. Single track, no electric rail. Yeah. Right, I'll get up and over there and hopefully eventually reach some kind of seafront promenade with coffee. That's my big ambition at the moment. More coffee. Good. Coming down on some kind of civilization. That looks like a pub to me. And the flume rides. Alas, I'll have to wait for another day. But yeah, this is all Torquay, I think. Paynton and Torquay all stretching around the hills all across. See what I mean about quite densely populated around here. It's a big old holiday haven, retirement home haven. Just a nice place to live, I suppose. Yes, hard work to find somewhere surreptitious to stick a tent, but that's fine. Going to be well past the other side of this by the end of the day, I expect. But yeah, right now, let's see if I can find somewhere that's open that does coffee. Should be. Let's have a look. Use my amazing technological zoom powers. It looks like a pub. Don't know if it looks open or not though. Oh, if not, carry on round. There'll be more. It's amazing. I have a device in my pocket that's able to function as a 10 times power telescope. I don't know what Huygens and Galileo and Copernicus were using in their heyday, but it might not have been 10 times magnification. It's all closed still. It's not even 9 o'clock yet. It's Tuesday. Look at those clouds. Just about make out. See that? I don't know. It's quite hard to see. Very pale rainbow which, you know, pretty much does say yes, rain, because that's how that happens. That's how rainbows work. So yeah, I don't know what the weather's going to do today. It's nice enough now, but very weird looking clouds everywhere. There we are, Paynton, promenade seafront bit. Just looking for a coffee hut now. Just past one, but it was really busy. At the harbour there. There's a pier. Oh, that's all the fun of the sea. And this a hotel called Esplanade. Tick. Yeah, good stuff. So I'm hoping one of these is open and doing ice cream and lemonade and coffee. Maybe a sandwich or something. I'm not going to stop for a big sit-down meal. A lot of ground to cover today. Make the most of this easy going. This flat. Good weather too. And God knows what this stuff's going to do to me today, later, but who knows. Hey, while the sun shines. I think inland it's getting a bit rained on, but I think something about the sort of land-sea thermal interface or whatever is keeping the rain off. Oh well, soon see what we see. All the fun of the pier. Let the Wookiee win. So I had a coffee and a bacon bap. Not bad actually, 2 hours today. I've been walking and I've already got to Paynton, so I think I could be in for a good mileage today. I thought I'd deviate onto the pier a bit and have a look around. A bit of recce of the lay of the land ahead. Plus, who can resist a pier? Ridiculous constructions. So that's Torquay over there, past that headland. Yeah. And then all across those hills. Big old place. I think it must be halfway there from where I started today, so it's not bad. That's as far as I go. Yeah. Well, that looks pretty miserable. Yep, definitely is here. Acorn on the pole. We've got about, I don't know, 4 or 5 miles of just following this A road now. It's always a bit grim. It's a nice enough day for it, but noisy, dirty, smelly. Oh well, contrasts. Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of that. Peculiar. Somebody has printed off a sheet of the face of Ainsley Harriott, TV chef, and has been sticking them on South West Coast Path acorns on and off since Brixham, I think. Oh, whatever floats your boat. Right, I'm going to try and get up here without getting killed. Speak to you again somewhere more picturesque. Yay. Rum and raisin, of course. So it's what, 10:51, nearly 11 o'clock, and I've made it to Torquay. There it is. Birthplace of Agatha Christie, apparently. They bang on a lot about Jane Austen, where I come from, but you know, you play the hand you're dealt, I suppose. Don't really know a lot about Torquay, apart from 40 towers, obviously. I mean, I've reached Torquay. I could certainly claim that, but it does go on a long way around there. So that'll be another couple of hours before I'm out of Torquay, I think. That's okay, I can't outstay its welcome longer than Plymouth, so that's alright. Doing well. Feet are a bit achy, but you know, that's what they do. Aches, not injuries and all that. I made a good lot of headway today though. I really wish I knew what the weather was going to be doing as well. There's some really dark looking rain cloud stuff inland that way, but all along here it seems to lift off and you can see the sort of flat bottoms of those clouds. I really wish I knew more about clouds. I'm going to make it a personal challenge for myself. This time September, when I come to do my next hike, I'm going to understand what all these cloud shapes mean. I'm going to know the difference between a cirronimbus, cumulus, Stradivarius and what any of it means for weather, because it is kind of relevant to my interests. And I think I'd just generally have a better time of things if I didn't have to keep checking the phone for weather reports all the time. If I could just look at the sky and go, ah yes, shepherd's delight on a pie in the sky in the morning means fog and sleet, or stuff like that. So yeah, it's amazing I've got 7 weeks into this without really knowing what any of those clouds mean. I thought I'd have picked it up merely by process of elimination by now, but I don't think those are rain though, looking at that lot. But it's very changeable. I actually got rained on while I was at the coffee shop in Paynton briefly, and then it went away and it was sunny again. That was a surreal experience. There's always like hotels and casino, you know, the sort of fruit machine casinos all along the strip there, and sat in this coffee shop in the front there, and they're playing Frank Sinatra's greatest hits at full pelt. So, you know, I really have come to understand that Paynton is the Las Vegas of the southwest. Don't know what to make of Torquay yet. I'll tell you when I get to the other side. Anyway, I've got to go and finish. I'll finish this ice cream first, and then crack on to that harbour thing, and then beyond down to a big headland and around the back. A bit more Torquay. It's the marina end, clearly. Posh boats and whatnot. Keep losing the path as well. Ah, there we go. Got to be really on the ball. They're not obvious in towns. Half of the signs are in the floor as well. They're like little brass plaques about the size of your fist. Acorns on. I'm trying to spot those as I go as well. Quite challenging. More mental than physical, I suppose, as the challenge goes. So they were along here then. That's good. We have to get up there at some point, but yeah. Okay, good. Quite close this side, so I zoom. So what's that, TU? Where it used to be Thomas Cook or whoever. Some sort of pilot boat there? Ferry? I imagine it's got a skeleton staff. A couple of bridge crews, some engineers. A few custodians or whatever, custodials. Yeah. Big old thing. And there's about 5 of them out there I've seen. Yeah. 11:45. And look, information. There you go. Pause the video if you want to read that. Walks along the southwest coast path. Oh, really? Tell me about the southwest coast path. Kings Riviera is a popular location for walkers on the Southwest Coast Path National Trail, which covers 630 miles from Minehead on the edge of Exmoor through to Port Harbour. Yes. I could tell you a thing or two about that. So this is Daddy Hole Plain. Yes. Another NCI, National Coast Guard Institute volunteer station thing there. Jolly good. The English Riviera UNESCO Global Geopark. Seen a lot of that since we've got to Paynton. I'm guessing there's a sudden significant change in geology on this side of that headland. A lot of red clay and red rock around the place, which I hadn't seen up to now, yeah. I think we are somewhere different, yeah. Torquay's huge. Well, that's confusing. That one's in kilometres. Hope's Nose, that's the far end of this headland, which I need to go around and start coming back up the other side. Kilometres. Hey, don't get me wrong, I do think a kilometre is a more sensible measurement on the whole, but it's more about consistency. They've all been in miles so far. Oh, 640 miles in kilometres, about 1,000 kilometres I think, for the whole path. 1 megametre. Yeah, I don't like this signage. So they've seen this a lot since Paynton, since Brixham. They've got this sort of weird, it's a post with a sort of notch recess, and then they have a little square panel they screw into the plate and with the actual information on, which is fine in principle. But so many of the ones I come across, this square plate's been missing. I don't know, vandalism or just they don't take very well. I much prefer the big old fingerboards, you know, or just an acorn carved in the side with an arrow. But yeah, this is a bit fiddly, I think. Kilometres indeed, they'll never catch on. Climbing again. This is up onto the final headland around the end on Torquay. Hope's Nose or something. Yeah, I don't know much about clouds, but that doesn't look good. Ominous, that's where it's coming from. It's more or less complete overcast coming in. I don't know if it necessarily means rain. The land's quite warm, so I think the heat rising keeps the rain from falling, but yeah, I expect I'll get rained on at some point today. But it doesn't, no forecasts are saying anything really heavy, and no forecasts are saying the wind's going to be too bad either, so yeah. So this is Hope's Nose, which is not part of the coast path, thank you very much. I'll go back up to that stile and carry on around in a minute, but I thought I'd sit here for a bit. Looks like an unnecessary hill to me. But yes, that side, which you can't see because there's too much hedge in the way, is Torquay, where I came from. That side, which you also can't see because there's too much hedge in the way, but I'll show you later, is the rest of it. Dawlish, Teignmouth, up towards Exeter, the Exmouth and things. Yeah. That's definitely an aircraft carrier. Not sure whose, ours presumably, this close to our coast. That's why you don't need massive 14-mile gun batteries perched on every headland nowadays, in the modern age, the 21st century. So old World War I battleship guns perched on a cliff top will be able to shoot 14 miles out to sea in 1940, but that can launch things that can issue the smackdown about 300 miles away, I imagine, or beyond. Don't know what the operational range of a Typhoon or Eurofighter or whatever is. But yeah, that's how we defend the coasts nowadays. I don't know what model or type it is. Right, I don't know what's going on with the weather. It's definitely high overcast now. Not actually raining yet. I thought I felt a few spits here and there. I suspect I will get rained on at some point soon. But well, you trudge on. Doesn't take me long to get waterproofed back up again. Right, let's keep moving. Oh, here's the other side. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Some sort of smaller boat there. 5, 6. More ferries, liners, cruise ships all parked out there. Not really sure what I'm looking at ahead. So I'm wondering, is that the Teignmouth crossing there? That gap, perhaps? And then somewhere far in the distance, I reckon that's the River Exe and Exmouth on the far side. I don't even know if you'd be able to see Seaton from here. But anyway, big curve of coast with the entire rest of my journey laid out ahead of me. So, crack on with the next thing. Is that possibly Babbacombe? Don't know. I'll keep on moving anyway. The sky's not getting any lighter. Lovely wooded stretch there just done. Quite close to the edge in places. Down to some sort of car park now. I seem to have broken through some sort of wall, romping quite well for the moment. All cylinders firing optimally, etc. It's weird, about halfway along that wooded trail there's like it looked like a giant sort of bus shelter type thing. Proper brick and roofed tile and everything, like bench seats on it. And the one facing away from the path, I don't know, I could see sleeping bag hanging over the over one of the walls, clearly there to dry out, and a small campfire going. Didn't want to disturb them. It's a good spot. Kind of a drizzle going on now. Not heavy, but shows no signs of stopping. They're probably on and off all afternoon, I expect. So what is it? 13:46, and I'm making my way along to Babbacombe. So effectively, I'll end up having done today's hiking by 2 o'clock, which is good because I want to press on. You see all that cliffs along there. I think that's the Teigne estuary there, Teignmouth. That one there. So I don't want to hit that. I want to get just short of that, ideally. Somewhere up on these cliffs there, maybe. Find somewhere sheltered. Ready to take that ferry first thing tomorrow. And then press on to Exmouth, which is much further over. Oh. Don't really want the camera getting wet, so yeah, this will be a short one. And yeah, speak to you again soon. Bloody hell. So it's just safe enough now to get the phone out. So that over there just came over me and lingered for quite a while. What time is it now? It's nearly 4 o'clock. It's Teignmouth there, I think. The ferry and so on. So it's about, I don't know, it looks about 4 miles away perhaps. I could get there today, I think. Don't want to though. God, yeah, really heavy rain. And thunder as well, which is a bit worrying considering, you know, this is mostly about climbing hills and things. I was getting to the point where I was just looking for somewhere flat to put the tent up and then just write the day off and hide in there. But now it suddenly seems to have gone, and now we've got blue skies and sun, so God knows what's going on. But yeah, I think that big front's just pushed off now, and it's probably going to leave us alone weather-wise for a little while now. I mean, this is all still dripping off of trees at the moment, and that's not actually raining at the moment. Suddenly visibility's up and it's a sunny day. Crazy. I mean, there's me with the full spacesuit gear on, the leggings, the super big gloves with the waterproofing. The only part I could see was my face, a grim face at that, trudging through the murk, trying to plan all sorts of contingencies and things. Trouble is, I mean, yeah, I could carry on trudging on. I've actually got a fair bit of mileage done in all of that still. Although if I never see the Oddcombe funicular railway ever again, it'll be too soon. But yeah, I think I'm somewhere called Watcombe now, something like that. Hard to say. I haven't been able to check on my phone time or places or weather or anything. Look at all that gleaming in the distance now. Yeah, strange old weather. I mean, the weather said that it was going to get worse and then carry on like that for the rest of the day until about 6 o'clock tomorrow, but who knows. I think it's very much an informed science rather than a precise one. Informed guesswork. So yeah, I mean, I'm on bonus mileage now anyway. Babbacombe's come and gone. About 2-3 miles out there now. So I just need to keep going and keep looking for decent campsites and be ready for the ferry tomorrow over there. And try and dry out a bit. Oh God, look at it. It's like the last nightmarish 2 hours never happened. So the ground's a bit sticky still. I'm still moist, far more so than I'd like. So that was Babbacombe, which is basically closed. has a pub and a cafe and some toilets. The cafe closed at 4, it's now like 5 or something. It looked like it had big scaffold panel boarding up all over it as well, so maybe it closed forever at 4, I don't know. The pub was closed for renovations, and the toilet sink tap didn't work, and I'm not delving into the bowl to fill my water bottles, so in the end had to rely on my roguish charm and boyish good looks to ask the people working in the garden of the pub if I could come in and just fill my bottles from their garden hose tap. So there we go. If the water tastes a bit brassy, I'll know why. So Teignmouth, 4 miles, which includes a ferry. It's about roughly 17, 19 exactly. What come 1 mile here? So the plan at the moment is, well, this is all bonus miles now. This is all stacking up on top of what I should have done today, which is stop in Babbacombe, which given the weather was probably the right idea. So now I'm just going to push forwards, but not so far that I do 4 miles before sunset. And then basically get about a mile out of this place or so, and then look for somewhere suitable to drop everything and crawl into my sleeping bag and whimper about the day's events. So yes, technically yes, it was an easy day, but the rain didn't help and I'm pushing bonus miles anyway. But I've got full tanks of water now and enough nuts and things in my bag to see me through to civilization again. Imagine there'll be plenty of shops in Teignmouth. It's a fairly large town. And then after that, tomorrow push on to Starcross via Dawlish. Try and sort all these ferries and things out. Only 2 to get, and there's relatively easy public transport alternatives for each. Well, I mean, if I miss the Teignmouth ferry, I'll just go 1/4 mile inland and use the bridge. Whereas the Exeter one, yeah, there's a whole train journey there instead, if it needs to happen. So yeah, now I just need to push on and find somewhere reasonably sheltered, reasonably flat, the usual criteria, reasonably out of the way. I'm so tired and in need of drying out that I'm going to be a lot less paranoid about my choosing my placement today, I think. As long as I get a good night's sleep, I've won. So yeah, where to next? A whole bunch of arrows. Is there one of those mine? Torquay circular. Oh, I don't know. I need to hunt around for some acorns. Anyway, I'll talk to you again soon. So I don't think I can go on today. But look, see how overgrown that path is. I bet almost nobody uses it. And look at that gate there. I've taken the liberty of examining the padlock on the chain, just keeping it shut, and it's so rusted I don't think you could open that gate anymore. And yes, there's a path there, quite well used. People go left and right by the looks of it. Probably not this time of night. This gate hasn't been moved in a while. Growing things at the base of it. So I don't think I'm going to be in any danger of being grazed by the Dartmoor ponies that apparently are in this area. Someone might come jogging down there, but this isn't even the coast path. Coast path's down the bottom of that one there. Came tromping up through the field there. But it's a large, grassy, more or less flat space that's more or less sheltered. That hedge up there's in the direction of the wind. I think it'll do. For a quick rest, and then I'm moving on to a fully official sanctioned campsite, of course. But yeah, I think this is probably the best I'll find today. Otherwise I'm going to hit straight into Sheldon. I mean, you can see straight over there. I'll have another hour of yomping and I'll be in Sheldon looking at the ferry and not really having a ferry. Or any more daylight in which to find anything better. So there was a campsite in Sheldon, but I looked it up on the old Googles and stuff, and it seems very high-end chalet. It's got a spa and a gym and etc, etc. I don't think they'll take kindly to me rocking up in my filthy state and asking if there's room for a little one. So yeah, over there's Teignmouth. where I'll be trying to get my ferry to at some point early tomorrow now, where we join the train, the railway line, the London Paddington to Penzance Great Western Railways line runs through there, and we'll be following that all the way to Starcross. So that'll be interesting. Lots of trains tomorrow. Look, the big old boats are all out in the bay there. There's about 5 of them out there now, all just basking. Is 5 a pod? I think it's a pod. And the aircraft carrier's still in the background. Can't see it from here. Which makes sense, really. I imagine there's like, what, I've counted about 12 to 15 high-end cruise liners are manned with a minimal skeleton crew, most of whom have absolutely no military training or experience, I expect. If you didn't have anywhere else particular to be, it's probably not a bad place to leave an aircraft carrier parked, just to discourage light fingers. Ooh, it's quite a day. I'm going to put the tent up in a minute, and I don't care who sees me, because I'm just that tired and that soaked. Most of it's dried off in the last couple of hours I've been hiking along, but warm tent will be nice. In theory, were I to be camping here at all, which I'm not. Ooh. Just taking a brief breather. Yeah, a bit worried about the wind. I mean, there's no wind coming from that direction, because we'll have to check the weather. It's all coming from that direction. And this fence isn't a great windbreak, but that hedge up there would probably catch the worst of it. As long as I rig up properly, if I were rigging up. And there's a main road up there that you can hear a little bit of. Far enough away from the sea not to hear that though, although these trees are going to be whistling in the wind a bit. It's supposed to die down a bit tonight and onwards for tomorrow. I could do with a bit of luck with the weather. I do remember seeing on the weather report something about something awful about Tuesday, so maybe I've had that now. Perhaps it will settle down and just, leave me the hell alone for the rest of the week. Should be nice. Lower winds, less rain, who knows. But as we can see, I'm ready for anything. I've got all the gear, most of which is even drying by now. So yeah, it's not a pleasant experience to be rained on as you're trudging along, but it's all part of it. Don't want to be accused of being a fair weather hiker. I'm just giving up and getting a taxi out of here as soon as the rain starts. Yeah, so I reckon this is probably me for the day. It's good though. I think I've done, I'm about 1.5 miles from Sheldon, which is where the Teignmouth ferry is, which is pretty good going. Babbacombe, yeah, about that way. So yeah, I think I've done the 16 miles that was meant to be tomorrow today, which means I can do 10 miles tomorrow instead of today and end up at the Exeter ferry, I think, at the Starcross ferry. Starcross, that's a great name. Mystical. And hopefully I'll be able to cross that and then just trudge onward out of Exmouth at the end of tomorrow on my weary feet and find some hedge to worry about. But that's tomorrow's problem. Right now I'm making the most of this weather that's leaving me alone for a bit. And I'm really on an early night, to be honest. Not too fussed about who comes along and starts shouting at me. And in my experience, people don't. It's never happened yet. It's not to say it won't happen. But you pick your spot with discretion and care, common sense, and an eye for the main factors: wind shelter, flat ground, big enough, and not in anyone's way. I mean, arguably that comes through to there, but if I push over to that side of it, I think there'll be room for people to get round if they really wanted to. If I was camping here, which I'm not. And you leave nothing behind in the morning. And I'm just going to be so pitiful if anyone gives me any hassle about how pathetic I am and how I'm incapable of moving any further. Maybe they'll show me mercy. Who knows? I doubt it's an issue. I can't imagine anyone's coming along here anymore. I haven't seen anybody else on the trail since that big rainstorm. And a few local dog walkers, but I think we're quite far from local dogs. So that's good. Yeah. So yeah, over halfway now for this week. It's good. And one ferry down, the Dartmouth ferry, that was all sorted out. That's very straightforward. I just turned up early in the morning and I went across. It was running pretty much all day, every day.
This next ferry, well, if I screw the ferry up, which I doubt, I'll be getting that first thing tomorrow, I expect. If I screw that up, it doesn't matter because I can go and use the road bridge. There's a big old road bridge across the River Teignmouth, quite a long one, footpath along one side, I've checked, Google Maps. If I miss, there's the Exeter, the Starcross ferry could be a problem. I think if I miss that one, because that one, I don't know, I had to look it up on their Facebook page, which, if you don't have a proper website, does wander. But I think that one stops around 4:30 or something stupid in the early afternoon. So if I do miss that one of a given day, then I'm going to just get the train to Exeter, St David's, and then back again down to Exmouth. Because that's not cheating, really. Not if I pick up where I left off at the walking point. Shame, I'd like to take the ferry, but we'll see what happens. So it all depends on progress and distance and all the rest of it. And then after the Exmouth ferry, I think I'm done with ferries for the whole remaining thing, apart from the chain ferry at Sandbanks, and technically that's after the end of it all, so I shouldn't need to worry about all this nonsense again for the next rest of this trip and the next one, which is good. Not having to meet deadlines and be in certain places by certain times. That's why I don't book accommodation either, because I don't know how fast I'm going to walk. I don't know how far I'll get. I usually walk further and faster than I think, but how can you book a B&B and promise to be there by whenever? You have to err on the side of caution if you're going to do that. And then, of course, that means you have to take many, many more day stages. Oh, do you think I can get 5 miles done today? Yeah, probably. All right, we'll book one here then. That stuff all adds up as well. Expensive. Oh, yeah, gonna sleep well tonight. Well, it's what I ever do in that bloody tent. I think the trick is to make sure I really pump the air mattress up properly this time. Magpie, one for sorrow or something. Should be some good views tomorrow anyway. Right, getting a bit cold just lying here, so I'm going to get up and carry on walking to an authorised and registered campsite. See you in the morning.